Hello, everyone, and welcome to Co-Creation Station, the podcast where we talk about the law of attraction, the art of allowing, spiritual magic, the mind-body-spirit connection, and how to best enjoy this mystical, miraculous, mysterious, crazy, sometimes confounding, but always incredible journey we call life. My name is Collin. I am located in beautiful, sunny North Hollywood, California.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Orlina. I am a transformational life coach, and I'm in San Diego, California.
We want to thank you so much for listening or watching or both, however you're joining us today. We do want to let you know, as always, at the top of the show here that we often mention the names Abraham Hicks and Esther Hicks. If you're not familiar with those names, Esther is a speaker and author who channels Abraham. Abraham is described as a group of entities from beyond our physical world who share their wisdom by speaking through Esther at workshops and speaking opportunities around the world. You can find out more about Abraham and Esther Hicks by searching for them on YouTube. Especially if you're watching us on YouTube now, you can just head over there after the episode. You can also just Google them or whatever your web browser is. They also have a website, abraham-hicks.com, where you can get more information. Each week, we start our conversation from a different jumping off point. And this is the second episode recently that is going to be built around a suggestion from one of our loyal viewers and listeners, Sarah. And I want to thank Sarah for this because she has helped me rediscover something and change my life in just a couple of weeks. So we're going to talk about today scripting, which is a way of working with the law of attraction. It's a way to practice the art of allowing. And it's an option and a set of tools, I guess, if
It's
to help you.
it's one of Abraham's tools that they have offered us as a way to soften our resistance.
I was wondering if Abraham had actually specifically talked about it.
Actually, you're right. That's what I was thinking you were doing, but no, it's from this other gentleman. You got it from him,
Yeah.
but Abraham offers it as well, and it's probably done differently than the way who's the author of the book?
This book here is called "Scripting the Life You Want," and it's by Royce Christian,
Okay, yeah.
who is now primarily an author, but he was also an actor when he was young. He was on some Disney Channel TV shows and
Cool.
things like that. Yeah, so Sarah, we had done an episode about this, I think in season one. It was a long time ago. And Sarah left a comment on a recent video where we asked our viewers and listeners to, what do you want to hear us talk about? And she said, I'd really like to hear more about scripting. And I had bought this book. I don't remember how I found out about it. I mean, I know it was the law of attraction, but I don't know specifically how it came to me. But when I read this book, it was incredible to me. It was really amazing what an impact it had on me. And I did my scripting for a long time. I finally found my notebooks that I had from doing scripting the first time, and I found 4 notebooks. I had been doing it for quite a while. And then for some reason, I stopped doing it. And now I kind of know why I stopped, or part of the reason. And when Sarah brought it up in her comment or message, I actually found those notebooks and I got really excited about doing it again. I started doing it in a couple of weeks ago, and already the changes in my life have been amazing. I keep saying to myself, why did I stop doing this? This works for me. This really, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And I know people are wondering, why did you stop? You want to just briefly say?
Yeah, there's a couple of parts to it. One part is a lot of times when I find a new habit that works really well and has really good results, it's challenging to stick with it. I don't know. It's interesting. I think I have a part of my personality where I can sabotage myself sometimes, and I need to be careful
You
to watch
can't
for
relate at all.
that. Yeah. So I have to be careful with really good new things that work really well for my healing and my journey, because sometimes if it's really good, like I'll be really excited about it for a while, and then I don't know. I don't even know if it's a conscious thing where actually I'm thinking like, I don't need this anymore. I think more than anything, it's just like I skip it one day, and then it's a little bit harder to do it the next day, and then it's a little bit harder to do it on day 3, and by day 4, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really doing that anymore. And then by day 5, I may have forgotten about it.
And then you also said that you complicated it. You
Yeah,
started
that's the other
there.
part, which I think is the bigger thing for me. I mean, I'm a creative person. I think everybody when they're doing self-help, self-healing kind of stuff, we all need to customize whatever we might get out of a podcast or a book or an author or a video or something for how it works for us. So I mean, I totally bless that, but I have a way of doing that that just complicates the fuck out of any set of tools that I get from a book or a video or a podcast, and it's just never good enough to do what the author or the speaker is saying and just keep it simple and do what
I
they
can
say.
make it better.
I'm always like, oh, but then if I added this piece and that piece and then I made it like this. Yeah, so I definitely did that with scripting and it was interesting, but I feel like it was such a great lesson taking the time away and coming back to it and just realizing that because when I went through my old journals from a few years ago, I was like, by the end of it, I had complicated it so much. I mean, it was great to look at. It was very creative and beautiful and everything, but I had turned it into this thing that was taking like 2 or 3 hours a day, I think, which is
Oh,
nuts. Like
wow.
nobody has
Yeah.
that kind of time.
Yeah, that is.
um,
Okay, so what's scripting?
so scripting is again, I think you can say it's a way of practicing the art of allowing, which is working with the law of attraction by writing. And Royce in the book suggests basically two main components to it, a daily thing, and then for him, he's like a once every 10 days thing. I'm just going to say here on the podcast, I've changed. I made one change. I made one Collin customization this time around. Again, just to keep it simple for myself, he has a once every 10-day thing. I'm doing it once a week on the same day of the week, just because for me it's easier.
Yeah.
I understand why he's doing it every 10 days, and I'll talk about that. But so you write a few things in the morning, you write one thing at night, and then once a week you write sort of a bigger thing. And what it is it you write about what you want to attract into your life, what you want to allow in from your vortex and actually manifest in physical reality in your life. And it's a way. I think it's a way of aligning yourself with your true heart's desires. It's
Yes,
a way
yes.
of keeping your or heightening, raising your vibration, I guess, and keeping it as high as possible. Um, And I think one of the most important parts of it is a brilliant way of seeing and recognizing and being able to remember what you have manifested, what you
Mm,
have allowed in, and
I like
really
that.
see it in black and white ink, like, or whatever color ink you wanted to use. Um, you say, like, oh, I wrote that I wanted this, a week ago, a month ago, whatever, and here it is. I'm writing, today about how I have that thing, and
Yeah.
it's really like you can line it up and go, oh my gosh, like that's when I first identified that I wanted it, and here it is, and like this works, which for me is really important because there's an element of you, I don't maybe someday we'll I know we have some proof of that the law of attraction is a thing and it works, um, but I can't prove it to somebody. Like if a stranger walked up to me in the street and said, prove the law of attraction right now, I can't do that. So my skepticism and my doubt is a big challenge, a hurdle for me in practicing the stuff we talk about every single week here on the pod. Um, and scripting really helps me with that because without having to prove it, scientifically or something like that, it just shows me like, oh, this, I asked for this, and then 3 days later it showed up, and I don't, you know,
You know what I like about it is, you were so cute the other day. I was listening to your boxer, and you were telling me you were super excited about how this is working for you and how powerful it is and how amazing life is for you right now. And while you were sharing, you started to say
oh yeah,
something about how it was in the past, and then you immediately said, "Oh, wait, that's my old story. Wait, wait, that's my story." And you did it multiple times, and it was so great to hear you do that because we all have, I believe we all have our stories that we tell of things that we've experienced in the past, and we just keep, as Abraham says, regurgitating them, and therefore we keep living them. And what you were doing is you were starting to say something that you do that you don't want to do, that you live that you don't want to live, and you're like, oh, wait, but I'm creating that. So you like stopped it. And so I love that because we all tell our stories and we don't realize, like for me, I'll say for me, like I realize I've been telling this one story about me and my business and being a businesswoman. That's who I was. It's
Yes.
not who I'm being now or who I want to, who I'm growing into. And I'm like, oh, Steph, we need to create a new story for ourselves. And so we do that all the time. I mean, I say things like even with the dating. Oh, but and I've definitely have said less and less about that. And
Hmm.
so I'm having a different energetic experience. But the scripting helps me practice what it is I want to live.
Yeah, you and I don't know how much we talk about it on the podcast. We probably should talk about it more. But part of what scripting is what we've come to call, I don't know if other people use this term or not, but future as present,
Yeah.
which you can speak, think, and write in future as present. And what that means is we're talking and or thinking and or writing about the future as if it's already here. We're talking about things we want to manifest in the future, but we're talking as if they've already happened. And it's a trick, but it's a great trick and it works. And the reason it works is because we think in language, and our thoughts are what create our feelings, and our feelings are what create our vibration, and our vibration determines what we attract into our life, because like attracts like. That's the law of attraction. So if we can think, write, and speak in, oh yeah, I have this amazing car. It's a white Lexus. It's, I forget what year it is, 2011.
It's a 2012. And mine,
2012. That's close.
so my old story was it's 2024 now. So I'm like, Steph, it's 12 years old. But I will tell you, I had this experience yesterday. I was driving on the freeway and I caught a glimpse of one. And I was like, that's a 2012 because their grill is different than the
Mm-hmm.
2013s. And I was like, Steph, that thing's 12-year old, but it looks beautiful. It's a well-made car. People who own them most of them take really good care of them. And I'm like, so what? It's 12 years old. It's gorgeous. It's gonna
Mm.
last you forever. And the one you get is gonna had been spoiled so much because they garaged it, and it's probably an older person who hardly ever drove it. You're gonna get almost a new used car. So,
So you're not doing future as present right now. You said will, will,
yes,
will.
right,
That's
right,
future, which
right,
is accurate if we're going to
right,
be in the
right.
real
Yeah.
world.
And I
But
wasn't doing
now
future
speak
as
it, but
present, but I was talking about a story that I've
but
been telling
do it as
myself.
futures. So do
Okay,
it as futures
okay.
present.
So I love my Lexus. She's gorgeous. She's this pearl white, and she's got the silver polished trim and the beige interior. And oh my God, literally, when I sit in her, I think about that time years ago when I first saw the car and sat in it and thought, I'm at home. This is my car. I have that experience so many times when I get in her now. And yeah, I feel super classy when I drive her around. Like she's so comfortable. She's a beautiful car and I love her. Like when I come out of the grocery store and I'm walking, through the parking lot at Trader Joe's and I see my car, I just instantly smile. Like I caught myself the other day. I like get a glimpse of her and I just have this automatic smile on my face. And I love the bloop bloop and then her lights go off, bleep bleep. And I get in and just,
And
that door shuts.
when you signed the final paperwork and you actually had the title in your hands, how did that feel?
I got chills run through my body and I almost teared up. And handing that check over to that person, I was super happy and thankful to them. It was like, and they loved their car so much, and they were so happy to be giving it to someone that they knew that would love it as much as them. And I just want to say, I keep getting chills running up my legs. Um,
Yeah,
and
so that's
yeah,
futures present. That's
yeah,
futures present, which is
yeah.
important because it's a big part of scripting what we're going to talk about. But I thank you. That was brilliant. And like I could see those are people who are watching on YouTube, maybe people listening to the audio version. I mean, I saw your whole energy change.
Well, and we can hear it too. So I know
Yeah,
our listeners could
yeah,
hear the shift from when I was
yeah,
telling my old story to when you paused me and said,
yeah,
do future as present.
yeah.
And yeah, we can hear it too.
And the thing is, it's one of those things that, at least for me, I needed to practice it, because at first it seemed really silly and awkward, and it seemed like, oh, this is like an exercise. It's like a theoretical spiritual exercise. Yeah, yeah, yeah. and which really is my brain just going, but you don't have it yet. You don't have that. I don't think you can have that. I don't think you will have that. And those are just thoughts in my brain from old programming. But the more I did future as present type stuff, writing, speaking, thinking, the easier it gets. And now it's like really, especially with the scripting, it's really natural. So let me just talk about, first of all, I should say, everybody should get the book. We're not getting paid a dime by Mr. Christian, but you should get the book. It's a quick and easy read. It's 200 pages, but there's lots of pictures, and the type is pretty big, and there's a lot of space between paragraphs. This is my kind of book. I have ADHD. I have trouble reading. But you should get the book because he explains a lot more than we can possibly cover about all the research he did and why it works. And he goes into great detail about the things he's scripted about. And he shows you, like, I was scripting about this, and then here's me getting it, later. There's a bunch of examples in the book, but when he was starting out as an actor, he did scripting to get his first big auditions, his first big callbacks, his first big roles on the Disney Channel. Like, and you could see them all, come true. But here's how the basic method works. And if I'm getting anything wrong, I apologize in advance to Mr. Christian. But so there's 3 components. There's what you do in the morning, every morning. There's what you do at night, every night. And then there's this, what he calls a 10-day script, which I'm doing as a 7-day. But I recommend people do whichever one fits best for them. In the morning, you do a 4-part thing. And again, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible because it's simple in the book. And the first thing is you write 5 to 7. You're doing 3 though, right?
I'm doing 3. Yeah. And
I think that's,
I may do 4 just because we were talking in friend time. The 3 I've written down are like really big things that I want.
Mm-hmm.
And so in speaking to you earlier, I was like, okay, I think I need to break them down into aspects of those larger ones.
Yeah.
So that it feels more like, oh, this is going to happen.
Yeah. So the first thing you do is you write down a number of wants. The recommendation in the book is 5 to 7. I'm doing 5 because if I started to do more than 5, I would probably want to do 20. You're doing 3. You're thinking you're doing 4, but he says 5 to 7. And you just write it out as a want statement. So we're not in future as present yet. So you just say, today I want to fill in the blank. I want to do something. I want to receive something. I want to feel something. I want to see somebody. I want to have a great phone call with somebody, whatever that is. 5 to 7 things that you want in that particular day. So you write it out that way. So it's a list of 5 to 7 things numbered. Then you have, and this is on, like, he recommends you having a notebook where you have the 2 pages left and right open in front of you. So on the left page, you're writing your wants and your intentions in 2 columns. So left side of the page, column 1 is wants. Left side of the page, column 2, right next to it is intention. So you write those same 5 to 7 things, but you write them as intentions instead of want. So you say, today I intend to receive fill in the blank. Today I intend to do fill in the blank. Today I intend to go to the fill in the blank and do fill in the blank. Today I intend to have a great phone call with fill in the blank. So what we're doing here is by changing it from I want to I intend, you're basically raising your vibration and you're getting away from your old programming of like, well, you want this, but you can't have it. You don't deserve it, whatever. You're shifting the language there, and it feels, at least my experience is, it feels much stronger to say I intend. And for me, I'm understanding that I'm working with the universe. I'm working with the law of attraction. I don't have to power the whole thing. It's like I don't know, for me, it's like a spiritual statement, but.
Well, Wayne Dyer he wrote a book about the power of intention. I think that was the title of it.
Yeah.
And I use that a lot with clients as like, you say, I intend. Like, I think I've talked to here about how when I'm going to meet someone, as I'm driving, it's like a segment intending then.
I was going to mention this before. Yeah, it's exactly.
I intend to have fun with my friend. I intend that we both laugh. I intend that we both are grounded and connected to our inner beings. I intend that we're real with each other. I intend that when I'm leaving from having spent time with my friend, that I feel uplifted. I intend that we both feel, I don't know what it is exactly, but the word like when you were saying I want, it's kind of airy fairy. I don't know. It's not concrete,
Yeah.
Where when I intend, it feels more concrete. Like there's more
Mhm.
the word intention. It's an
Yeah.
intention.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I have to make it happen. It's
Yeah.
it is a very, I think it's a spiritual grounding,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yep. That's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. So that's the left side of the page. So you have two columns: I want list, I intend list. Then on the right side of the page, you're going to write your belief or knowings for the day. And this is the same exact list of things, so 5 to 7. But instead of writing I want or I intend, you write I believe or I know. So if we just say, let's say we want to have coffee with a friend and we want to have a wonderful time with them. So on the first list, it'd be I want to have coffee with my friend and have a wonderful time together. The second list would be I intend to have coffee with my friend and for us to both have a wonderful time together. And then the third list would be either I know that my friend and I had a great time at coffee together, or I believe that my friend and I had a great time together at coffee today. So I'm not sure you have to use the future as present there, but that's how I've been doing it. Because for me, it's like it's sort of completing that process there to a certain extent. It's like starts
Mm.
out like you say,
So it
airy
could be
fairy.
like, I believe I will versus I believe I did, kind of like that is what you're
Yes,
saying. The difference
yes,
so you
yeah,
could really do either, but you're
yes.
saying you like doing it in the past tense because it more,
This may be another Collin customization, I'm realizing, but yeah,
and
yeah. But for
honestly,
me,
everybody take what you like and leave the
yeah,
rest. Because I
yeah,
think it's more about doing it so that you'll do it as
yeah,
opposed to like, I have to do it all correctly or I won't do it at all.
yeah.
It's
But for
like,
me, I mean, we're gonna do future as present in the fourth and final part, but in this third part, for me, it's helpful to already get there. So like, I'm just stating it like it's already happened.
yeah.
Like at the end of the day, sort of like, oh, I
Mhm.
know, and I choose no. I think again, whatever works for you, believe or no, whatever one resonates for you, it works for you. Use that. I use no because believe feels a little flimsy to me these days.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think because I've used it so much with affirmations that my brain is a little more used to it and a little better at sabotaging it. Kind of, it's
Okay.
like, oh,
Okay.
really,
So it's
Collin? Do you
not
really believe it? Do you
okay.
really?
Yeah. So there's
I
some
know.
doubt in your belief.
Yeah.
And then
But
I
when I
think I've
say I
done,
know, again, it feels spiritually grounded. I'm
yeah,
not saying that intellectually. I'm saying I know that the
yeah,
universe, my higher
yeah,
power, wants
mm,
this for me. My inner being wants it for me.
right.
I know it already happened. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a spiritual word. Yeah. Um, I use both. Like my first one, I'll say I know. The second one, I'll say I
Cool.
believe,
Yeah,
and then
that
the
works
third one, I'll
too.
say I know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So then you flip the page over. So we've gotten 2 pages done. We've got the morning I know I want, I intend, and then I know or believe list. We flip it over. We have a new left and right page. On the left page, you're going to do the final thing for the morning, the fourth and final part. The fourth thing is called your morning script. And basically, what you're doing, I'm glad you brought up the segment intending um, from Abraham, which do you want to briefly explain what segment intending is for people who've never heard
I
that?
think I just did it.
Oh, okay.
So segment intending, well, I heard Abraham say this the other day. Like when you walk out of a room and walk into another room, that's a new segment. Like when someone new steps into the room, that's a new segment. But for me, like I'll like let's say, well, you're driving to work
Yeah.
and you're gonna start a new segment when you get to work. Or
Yep.
even when you get in your car, you're starting a new segment because you're going to drive somewhere. So you could
Yep.
say, I intend, or I intend to arrive at my destination safely. I intend to listen to music and enjoy myself
Yeah.
while I'm driving to my destination. Or when you arrive to work, I intend that everyone I come in contact with at work today is uplifted from having spent time with me. I
Yeah.
intend to feel relaxed and calm. I intend to be productive. I intend to be
Yeah.
creative, whatever.
So
So
basically, it's breaking up your day into little tiny parts,
as
and
you're getting to it, like you're
right
standing at the
before,
doorway of it,
right,
you're,
right
yeah.
before every little part, you're setting an intention of how you want that to go, which is almost all the way to a future as present. So the fourth part that you do in the morning on the left side of the page, or on the left page, is a morning script. And basically, what you're writing is your segment intention for the day. So you write your day that day, and you write everything that you want to have happen to you in that day. And so everything on your list, because you wrote it 3 times, you wrote the want, you wrote it as a want, and then as an intention, then as a knowing or belief, should be in there. And you can put other stuff in there too. Um, but make sure those 5 to 7 things are in your day. You getting those things or doing those things or having those things that day are in there. So then that's the morning piece. So then you can go and live your day. And then at night before you go to bed, you sit down and you take out the same notebook, and on that right side page, so your morning script is on the left side. On the right side of the page, you write what's called your night journal, which is you write your day as it actually happened. So your morning script is future is present. You're writing the day as if the day is over, but you haven't started it yet. You're just writing like, today I'm going to do this, and I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. It was awesome. It was great. It was fantastic. I did this, blah, blah, blah. But it hasn't happened yet. In your night journal, you're going to write what actually happened. And you raised a good point. Especially when you start out, it's going to be very different from your morning script. There's going to be things that you didn't get, right? But that's okay. It's actually really cool, because what you do is, as you keep doing it day after day, what you'll see is you start getting more of what you write in the morning on your wants list to show up either that day or the day after or the day after. And as I was telling you in our friend time before we started recording, it's a way to actually see like, oh, I literally see how I'm softening my resistance around this thing. Like one week I wrote that I wanted something like that on Monday and I got it on Friday. And then the next week I wrote that I wanted something like that on Monday and I got it on Wednesday. Like I am getting my vibration more in alignment with this thing. Like it's literally, I can see my resistance is 2 days less than it was before.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And then the final piece, so that's the daily stuff, the 4 things in the morning, which is really just writing the same list 3 times and then writing your future as present day with those things you
Well, it's the same thing, but writing it in a different
way.
Yeah.
And the night journal. And then he talks about the 10-day script. Again, I'm just saying this is a Collin customization. I've done 7 days because it's easier for me to like do it. Right now I'm doing it every Saturday and it just makes sense. But on the day that you're doing your 10-day script, as he says it, you don't have to do all those 4 other pieces. What you do is in the morning, you write, as he says, future as present, what happened to you over the course of the next 10 days. But you start out with something really important, and this is so Abraham, it so aligns with what Abraham says, is you write like a whole paragraph or a whole page, however much you're comfortable with, hyping yourself up. You don't start out writing, I got this, I did this. You just write stuff like, my life is so awesome, I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, I'm so excited about my life right now, so many cool things are happening, I'm getting so many awesome gifts, it's almost like I can't keep track of them, I'm awesome, I just feel so alive and so turned on and whatever. And write that, do stuff like that for a paragraph or a full page if you're able to. What that does, as we know, is it hopefully raises your vibration. So you're not just writing something like, I'm doing my writing exercise. You're hyping yourself up and you're actually getting happy and excited and you're getting into a vibration where you're welcoming things in.
So here's what I'd like to say, because right now I'm like, starting at 0, I'd be like, how can I go from 0 to 60? However, in writing and doing the daily writings, it'll start to feel really good.
It does, yeah.
And so when you go into that 10-day, it'll be easier to go from 0 to 60.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that because in the daily, what you're doing is less than the 10-day, sort of by definition, but you're wanting sort of smaller things because it's a 1-day thing. In the 10-day thing, you can stretch yourself a little more. Like that's where he put initially like, oh my God, I got an audition at Disney this week. It was so amazing. I couldn't believe it.
In his 10-day script?
Yeah. And then the next 10-day script, he was like, oh my God, I got a call back for that audition. It was amazing. And then the next 10-day script, he was like, oh my God, I got cast in a guest starring role on a Disney Channel show, So you can put the bigger things in the 10-day script. But basically you write the whole 10 days as future as present. Like after you do the hype up, you just write like, oh, let me tell you about all the amazing things that happened to me this week, all the amazing gifts I got, and then you just once you've done that, and that's usually longer for me. Like I have a small notebook. You can kind of see it's this size. It's not even for the audio listeners. It's like maybe 5 by 8 inches.
Yeah, mine's small too. I
But
picked this up at
yeah,
Michael's
yeah,
the other day, and
yeah, same
yeah.
size. But I usually write about, again, I'm trying to keep it simple because I can overwhelm myself very easily with stuff like this. I try to keep it as 4 pages. So I do like left, right for my 7 day, his 10 day. So that's how you do it. I mean, the basic structure of it's pretty simple. You do 4 things in the morning, 1 thing at night, and then every 10 days you do a slightly longer thing on that day. And that day you don't have to do the other 5 things, the dailies. You can take just that day to focus on your 10 day script. And
Awesome.
yeah, so we're gonna have to do another episode on this because I had a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and all we did was explain what it was. But it's awesome, and if it sounds like something that might work for you, please practice it and let us know, because we would love to know if it's working for you in your life. But yeah, in our next
Absolutely.
episode next week, we'll talk a little bit more about like what, because you've been doing it too, so we'll talk about our experience of what's actually been happening.
Definitely.
Exciting stuff. Okay. Well, thank you so much. We hope you got something out of that in our discussion today. We're so happy and grateful that you joined us. Remember that at this time in early 2024, we're posting a brand new episode for you every single Monday morning. We truly appreciate you doing whatever your platform allows you to do to support the podcast. We also have a Patreon, which is a way that you can sign up and donate a small amount to us every month to help keep the podcast going financially. We're super grateful to all our Patreon folks who support us there. All our social media links and our email address are down in the doodly-doo, the description of the YouTube video down below. We wish you a happy and abundant week, and we look forward to you joining us again on the next episode of Co-Creation Station. Bye, everybody.
Bye.